Morning, comrades, and welcome to another fabulous adventure here in Montevideo on a beautiful Saturday morning. I'm taking a long walk around the port area here in town, and if you're here for any length of time, you get a pretty good idea of how the city is set up. And the part of the city I'm living in is on a piece of land that sort of sticks out into the sea. It's not really a peninsula, but it is surrounded by land, or water rather, on three sides. And maybe I can get a picture of it here. And from my house, if I head downhill in any direction, I'm eventually going to end up at the sea. And then I can just keep on walking, and eventually I will end up back where I started. So that's what I'm doing this morning. Right now I'm down by the port. It's kind of noisy, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm just going to keep on walking, and eventually I'll get over to the promenade part. I think I showed a video about that a few weeks ago. And then once I get there, it's 1 or 2, maybe 3 kilometers between there and my house. So what I thought I'd do this morning, since I'm leaving Montevideo in a few days, I'm going back to Argentina. I thought I would review a little bit about this southern tour in general, and some of the things I did right, and some of the things that, if I took a trip like this again, that I would do differently. This is definitely an industrial area of town. I was down near here a couple of weeks ago, I think on my very first video from Montevideo. Anyway, one of the things I wanted to talk about was packing. When I finished my Asian tour last year, I was hauling around a big blue Samsonite bag on rollers that weighed 23 kilos, well, 22 and a half kilos, just under the limit before I would have to pay for it. And I vowed I would never do that again. So I bought a smaller bag, and I took everything out of that blue bag that I had not touched in the 6 months of traveling, and left that home. So I got a different bag, repacked with everything I thought I would need for the 4 months, or 3 months I guess, of this southern tour, of this tour of South America. And I ended up with 11 and a half kilos. So I was very happy. Not only was the bag smaller, it was also easier to maneuver, because sometimes you do have to move your bag, you know, without the aid of a car or an airport luggage trolley or something like that. So I'm down to 11 kilos. I still have things in that bag, though, that I haven't touched at all on this trip. The next thing I want to talk about is language. If I were to do this trip again, I would definitely learn some Spanish before I came here. I think I mentioned this in another video. Part of the reason I find Malaysia so comfortable is that not only am I okay with the language, but a lot of people speak some kind of English in Malaysia. They may not be fluent, but they at least understand somewhat what I'm saying, and when they speak English back, I understand a little bit of what they're saying. Also, it helps that when I speak Malay, I'm able to get along with, you know, typical low-level kinds of conversations, like at restaurants, asking directions in a department store, things like that. Technical conversations, no, I can't do that. Like my background is in coaching, and when I would lecture on scientific subjects, there's no way I could do that in Malay. It had to be done in English. But with the Spanish here in Uruguay and in Argentina, it's not a Spanish that I'm used to hearing. It's something different. So I'm not really sure what it is, but it is Spanish. It's just a different dialect maybe, or a different accent, something I can't tell what it is. My brilliant plan of using my American Express card to get points every time I purchase something failed miserably on this trip. The only place I was actually able to use the card was here in Uruguay and at some fast food restaurants in Ecuador. Trying to use an American Express card in Argentina is a waste of time. You can't do it. Now, I have to qualify that by saying the places I tried to use it were not high-end hotels or restaurants or fancy retail shops. I don't go to places like that. They were just the normal, low-cost places where if you take out your card, they usually have a little electronic card payment terminal there. American Express, although it is taken in some places in South America, it is not, as I found out, not the most popular payment system. And sometimes the shop or business will be able to take American Express, but because it happens so rarely, the clerk doing the payment doesn't know how to do it. So if I came here again, I would probably have a different strategy. The other thing that stood out between the three countries that I visited here was the inflation rate. In Ecuador, I didn't really concern myself with the inflation rate at all because they used the US dollar as their official currency. So I could use any money, any US money that I had in Ecuador. There was no Ecuador currency to change it to. Everything was listed, all prices were listed in US dollars. The coins were US dollars. Everything was based on the US dollar. In in Argentina, the inflation rate, the last time I checked, this was a couple of weeks ago, was the highest, I think, in South America at 109%. That's the inflation rate. Here in Uruguay, the inflation rate is about 20%. And the other thing I noticed is that between Argentina and Uruguay, Uruguay is more expensive, not much, but it is more expensive than Argentina. I'm pretty sure I'm just rambling here. All I really wanted to do this morning, though, is go for a walk. This is one of the few nice days I've had where the sky is almost blue and it's nice to walk. And it's a Saturday morning, too. Now, as a gentleman of leisure, my schedule looks the same no matter what day it is, but still, on a Saturday and Sunday, there's still these patterns that we follow. And even though there's no logical reason for me to follow this pattern, on a Saturday, it always seems like it's a free day. When in reality, for me, every day is a free day. Like I said, the longer I'm here, the more I like it. One thing though, that if you do come as a tourist just to see the sights, you don't need to stay here very long. I'm staying in the Old Town area, and many of the sites, in fact, all of the sites are very compact. They're close together. If you want, you can walk to most of them. I think the longest walk I had was the one to the Stadium Centenario, where the first World Cup was held. You can check out that video a few weeks ago. That was 5 km from my house. That was the longest walk that I took while I was here. But other than that, everything is pretty much compact. I'm right next to Independence Square right now, which you've seen many times in my videos. And behind me is the National Theater, actually Teatro Solis. I don't really know what Solis means. I'm gonna have to look that up. I am the world's worst tourist. But I've been here long enough, I should know what it means by now. Anyway, right next to Independence Square is the National Theater, and there are several other sites in this area also. This is what I mean by saying things are compact. Many of the sites that, if you look on Google, it'll give you all the sites of Montevideo. Many of the sites are very, very close to each other. In fact, when you're standing at one, usually you can see the next one. Well, I've been wondering what this is. Every time I walk through Independence Square, I see this entrance going down underneath the ground, and I wondered what it was. It was always closed. It's a tomb. It's a tomb of Artigas, I think is the guy's name. I'll check on that and put it down below on the screen. But I'm pretty sure that's who it is. It's too dark in there to film. And there is a name up here. Artigas, that's correct. Like I said, it's a Saturday morning, and although there's just as many people on the streets as I noticed on other days of the week, there is a lot less traffic. Yeah, hey, it's me again. Well, last night when I sat down to edit this video, imagine my surprise when I found out that the last clip I recorded was missing. Yes, the GoPro has been up to its usual shenanigans. So, this is a few days later after the last video that you saw. And if you made it this far, I know you liked it. So if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, now's the time to do it. But anyway, the last clip was just the usual thanks for watching, I'll see you next time stuff. But I just thought I'd put something in about why I look different, why. Oh, I'm lost again. But anyway, that's what happened. I'm no longer in Montevideo, I'm in Buenos Aires again. And you'll see a few more videos coming from Buenos Aires before I head back to the United States. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe by clicking my face over there on the left. That's it for today. I'll show myself out.